Coach.
Yeah, we played down there a couple of times.
You did, I think you was down there when Tank
Oh, my
took
goodness.
Jacob Teague
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that bunch
yeah.
down there and played, I forgot who it was, they played that team.
I would love you to sit with me.
I remember it was the team Davian Swan was on, you know, and I think he went on playing pro ball.
Yeah.
Same thing.
That was,
It's right there.
Wesley's, it was during Wesley's time, I think.
Yeah, you get off in Tech,
This time last week.
somewhere right there about Tech or the varsity, and you go
Yeah, you had something. Yeah.
west on, or east on 10th Street. It's just out there, a little ways.
Okay.
I didn't really can't, I'm pretty much piled up.
Yeah.
Bet you felt good.
A little after 8.
Of course they did.
Okay. Morning, everybody. I appreciate everybody being here this morning. And we'll call to order the November 4th Joint Development Authority. And you have the agenda before you, and we'll need approval of the agenda if there are any additions or deletions. Good to go? All right.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Citizens wishing to speak. Yes, ma'am.
That was a presumed request, you assume I'm here for a reason.
You're the only one here.
I don't have a copy of the agenda, but I did hear some discussion about financials. Do you have that available to the public to look at that?
Sure.
Thank you.
It's always, it's available anytime.
Okay, and I have a question, thank you. The Joint Development Authority is a non-governmental body, as I understand it, more of a non-governmental organization. And this is kind of what you call the public-private partnership. How much of what you do is dependent upon elected officials, or do you kind of act as I see there are elected officials present, Charlie Parrish, Al Boyle attends, and Jake Callahan would be here. However, I'm just wondering, how much, do you take your marching orders from them, or they from you?
No, we, number one, this was created by the Gilmer County government, East LJ government, and LJ city government. And its purpose was to improve the economy and work towards that in Gilmer County.
Was there an end goal? Was there an end goal? Does that look like, what does that look like at the end of the economic improvement? Does that look like Woodstock? Does that look like, what does that look like to you?
It does not look like Woodstock.
What does it look
I'm
like?
not talking about Woodstock, New York. I'm talking about Woodstock, Georgia.
So I've read the vision from the Catalyst Plan, and I've taken some time to digest and understand that long, multi-year process. I've listened to Mr. Sanford's speeches on that given to the public, and I'm just, that is a vision. That's actually a written vision that came from the Pendleton Group with the cooperation and help of the Pendleton Group. So there were some end goals in mind, and I'm just wondering if that's changed.
Going back 10, 15 years?
2014
We're
to 20.
not involved in that at all.
Yeah,
And
Well,
that's
you
not-
were,
that's a dead
Mr.
horse.
Rainey. No, it's not in that. It does kind of, if you don't look at your past, you don't know what your future looks like,
Well,
right?
okay.
Okay, so this, members of this body here got together at one point along with others who made a determination on what you all in this room decided that looked like. And that, you all would welcome the Bill Gates of the world to Gilmer County
that's
per
Travis.
your,
That's Travis Kraut.
and next year it'll be, Charlie or John or Carlene, you all leave. So those elected officials cycle through and you could,
Let me say one thing here.
Okay.
You're asking about whether or not the government gives the marching orders. I'm on the board, I get one vote. Just like everybody else on the board. Other than that, the government does not involve itself in this at all. We give no marching orders. You might say they have a representative on the board, but I get one vote. So that's the extent of it.
right, and the other members are what you call stakeholders. So there's,
Well, everybody here gets a vote.
right. Well, board members, yeah.
Well,
So
yeah,
those
that's-
should be board members made up of stakeholders in the community who have an interest themselves in what happens with
I
economic
think-
development.
I think that's true too.
Yeah.
Large.
So what I see lacking is just a regular citizen like myself. I guess I would point that out.
Can I say something? It says citizens wishing to speak. If you're gonna speak, speak. If you're gonna ask questions, write them down and we'll address them at the next meeting.
Okay. Well, I thank you for all you all for making an opportunity for citizens wishing to speak. I have a lot of questions. Who would I speak to outside of this meeting to gain access to what it is you all, your objective and agenda is here, and what the vision, what the end goal looks like, and how you all are going about doing that? Where's your funding coming from? What cooperative entities are you relying on?
Ma'am,
You know,
I tell you what,
I'm just
after the
looking for a
meeting,
meeting.
you can talk with Kent, and
Okay.
if you have any questions about that,
Mhm.
because he's the executive director, and we selected Kent as a group, representatives of Gilmer, East LJ, and LJ, and he'll be glad to explain anything to you that you might want. And also, if he can't explain that, you can certainly go to Mr. Parrish, or Mr. Callahan, or Mr. Holt.
Okay. As far as the, what you're going to go over today, is that all in here? The financials, that's everything that you're going
That's
over?
everything.
Thank you so much. That's all.
Do that all the time,
Thank you.
every meeting. 10 years. All right. Approval of the prior minutes. Have you had a chance to look at the minutes?
I do, I think there needs to be a correction on the, big paragraph at the bottom, second line down, third word in from the right, I think it should be if instead of is. Y'all check me though,
I'm sure that's probably the case.
I can't imagine,
Any other changes?
very minor.
That's all good.
All right, like approval of the prior minutes with the, change noted by Penelope.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I'm trying to silence this thing now.
Going to correct. All right. Kent, you want to go over the financial report that everybody was given a copy of this morning?
Sure. The, next page behind the minutes from the last meeting is the October 31st budget review. It also has a column for next year's budget. So we'll look at that again a little bit later. Month 10, we should be at 83% of our budget. On the income revenue side, you see that the receipts from East LJ is exactly at 83%. LJ and Gilmer County has been billed for those, and the payments are in process at this point, so they, even though it reflects the 50% received, the 83% is in process. Interest is running because of the interest rates not moving down as rapidly as we thought they would this year. We've received more interest than we budgeted. Miscellaneous revenue, the 6625 is actually related to the item that Penelope gave us the correction on. The summary intern ended up being $66.25 over the budget. That was reimbursed to us from the foundation. On the expenditure side, most everything is in line with what we would anticipate at this point. The accounting, of course, the financial review that the external folks did has already occurred, so that's not going to go up much more. So everything's pretty much in line. And then down at the bottom of the page, you see the operating account has $48,546.77, and the matching funds for the infrastructure grant has $120,707.43. Does anyone have any questions?
Make a motion, we accept the financials as written.
A second to that motion. Charlie's second. All those in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Those opposed? I'll ask that. Old business, any old business for us to do?
No, all business.
New business, our 2025 meeting dates, I think they're on the very next page.
This follows the same calendaring that we've done for the last several years, which would be the first Tuesday of each month at this location at 8 in the morning. I felt like that was probably the most likely way of having openings in everyone's calendar, so I present that for approval and publication in the Times Courier.
Well, it's pretty much the same as we followed over the years, unless we can't have a quorum, and then we meet another time. Need a motion to approve the business meetings for next year?
So moved.
Second? Second now?
Second.
All right, second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? None. Thank you very much.
Turn back one page, back to the financials. You see the allocation and probably part of the questions that Kimberly has. The budgets anticipated for 2026, the funding from the three governmental entities is anticipated to be the same as they approve their budgets as it has been since the organization was established many years ago. So you see that towards the top for a total of $120,000. We do anticipate interest rates will continue to come down, so we've reduced that a little bit from current year and raised it a little bit from last year's budget, giving us $121,500 to operate with. Those numbers you can compare as you go down through there with the 2025 budget, which is right beside it. Anticipate a little bit more expense with CPA review associated with the grant. So we've moved a little bit more money in there, taking it out of advertising and marketing. Over the years, I've not seen a lot of benefit in us doing any type of marketing. So you see, we weren't using that money this past year either. Contract services, we will see the first ever since we've been in existence increase in our rent. It's only a 10% increase, which doesn't come close to the amount of inflation we've had over the last several years. You see that reflected in contract services. And everything else is pretty much in line. We've put a new line in here, education and training, because of the more frequent training requirements that the state has put on all JDAs across the state. Now, instead of the periodic that we had, we have annual training. Mr. Paris is exempt because he gets trained all the time in his daily
I'm still
job.
signed up for one of the
Okay.
minimum classes.
You know, they take a little bit different approach from what you receive as a commission training, but they're gonna be obviously aligned, but that's good. And everyone that was able to take it back a few weeks ago, I did the registration and covered the expenses through the JDA. So as you get billed for that, please give me a copy of the reimbursement and provide me with a specific certificate, because we have to report that to the state every year. Everything else is pretty much in line, balances out at $121,500 at the bottom. Does anybody have any questions on the proposed budget?
Hearing none, we'll ask for a motion to approve the budget for next year.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Likewise. All right. Discussion and action on the infrastructure contract with Parchment.
Okay, I provided those, two, bids that, we'll be considering, to you earlier. The, process that we went through and, we were assisted by the, civil, engineers, Hussey Gay Bell. They solicited bids from 6 different groups. Only 3 returned those bids. We did have 3 to review. The supposed lowest bid came from a group KAM out of the metro Atlanta area. Sam Smith was the principal. They left so much out of that bid compared to the specifications that we provided to them, I just set it aside. They didn't even, I mean, I won't get into it, but they left probably 1/3 of the items that was anticipated in the bid out of it. So the 2 that I provided to you earlier, the next lowest bid, and in both of these cases, these 2 that remain, Hussey Gay Bell has worked with them before, and they are knowledgeable about the performance of the company. Of course, there would be a bond associated with it for whoever we award it to. The Caldwell Construction out of Blairsville is the higher one at $1,746,714. I did go ahead and do a site visit with them after receiving the bid and interviewed them as to what they thought about the design of the project and such as that, when they could mobilize, how long they thought it would take to complete the project, as I did with DSR Contracting. DSR is one here in LJ. They came in at $1,661,188. I've also interviewed them and done a site visit with them. Both of these groups feel like there's some opportunity for value engineering that could possibly bring the cost down from the conversations, and they need to do some additional work, but probably another $300,000. It appears that the rough grading that New Beginnings has been getting has reached a point where it may not be necessary to take it down as low as the civil engineers have said. New Beginnings purchased an additional 0.6 acres. County records showed 1 acre. It turned out to be 0.6 once it was surveyed. And that 0.6 allows for some adjustments in the grading. Hussey Gay Bell had drawn a driveway at the northernmost part of the property, which gave a shorter distance to obtain the elevation that fire trucks needs. With the additional 0.6 acres at the southern end of the property, the property is much deeper on that side, and so you have more distance to cover the elevation that is there right now, but you can do it at a lower grade than you would have if you were trying to cover it in the distance from the northern side. So they feel like there's some value engineering that can still be done with these bids. They're both going to go back and do some work. But my recommendation today, since they were the lowest bid at the time that the bids were due in, that the board would authorize me to do some value engineering talks with DSR Contracting, and then execute a contract for their services below the current current bid of $1,661,188. That's my recommendation this morning. Does anyone have questions? I know these packages get to be kind of complicated to look at. The engineering package was reviewed, obviously not only by the state as it went to Athens for review, it was also reviewed by the Gilmer County Water and Sewer Authority to make sure that the specified components of the water and sewer extension met their requirements, and they're comfortable with this. They've actually worked with DSR many times over the years.
If the DSR comes in and value engineers this, you'll get back with us on what it looks like, but this will be the max.
That would be the max.
Okay.
What else have they done in the area?
DSR, most recent work that they've done is over at the Orchard Church. They've done all the infrastructure over there. There's a new restaurant coming in next to the animal hospital on Highland. They've done the infrastructure work for that.
A lot of work
They've done a lot of work.
over the years.
The principal of this company is a gentleman that y'all probably know, Stacy Rogers. And Stacy, before he set up this company, actually was one of the, I don't know if he was the assistant director of the Water Authority years ago, I believe. So he fully understands their specifications and actually maintains his license with the state. So he's probably more qualified than Caldwell out of Blairsville, because as I did the site visit with them and asked them just in general how they would mobilize, they do water and sewer work, but they primarily do grading and paving and that type of work. And they may end up subcontracting out the water and sewer, the expansion. So, I'd not ask Gary McVeigh of the Water Authority at this point, but I think he would probably be more comfortable with DSR as well.
Gotcha. Thank you.
What was their timeline and what was our timeline on the grant money?
The grant was 30 months. The state of Georgia took 3 months from the award date, roughly almost to the day, 3 months before they finalized the grant. And it was over, literally it was over the address. They wanted proof of where the JDA was. And so they delayed it for 3 months, and they would not return calls or anything. And then once they moved it to final approval, we spent a month getting these bids. So we're already 4 months into the 30 months. And I've talked with the DCO about this. They will grant extensions to that if we need it. But the anticipated rollout would be mobilization once we execute a contract for the infrastructure of about 3 weeks after that. And then they feel like that they can get that done within about 3 to 4 months.
What was our total grant?
1.5 million for this. We contributed $120,000 from the JDA, and then New Beginnings has been putting in money and will continue to put up in money as necessary.
This is gonna take, save a ton of money though, bottom line.
It will. It will. There's still about 15 feet of dirt to be removed, and it's starting to get into rock. I don't know if you turned over, particularly the one from Caldwell. It's one that I put aside and has even more, but on the back side of theirs, I believe, is where it has some of their rock exclusions and how much it goes up per cubic yard to remove it if they're building with rock, depending on whether they're able to rip it out or if they have to blast it out. So, you know, the site looks pretty good at this point. The only concern at this point is making sure that fire trucks can get up there.
Did they have a grade estimate, slope degree on that steepest part?
It would be below whatever it was y'all have in the ordinance, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is. Is it 7?
I don't remember, it's different with asphalt and
Yeah.
other issues.
But Hussey Gay Bell wrote that to the specifications of the city. The cities is similar to the counties.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve DSR, Contracting LLC for this project?
So moved.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Second, Charlie? All right. All those in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Very good. It's been a long time coming, get to that point. All the work.
Not soon enough.
I know.
This project's standing between me and retirement, so not soon
Okay.
enough for me. I don't have anything else this morning unless there's any other questions.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the committee? If not, we will stand adjourned. And remember that our meetings for 2026 are listed there, and Ken will get that to the Times Courier. Thank you all for being here. We had a quorum, that's always good.
That's always good.
Thank you.
All right.
I do appreciate y'all being here. I hate to have to reschedule anything because it just messes everybody's calendar